it up, and it's gone. And the Cardinals are cruising now.
Welcome to the nation's capital, and yesterday the Cardinals spoiled the party. The first postseason game in Washington in 79 years and moved to within one game of the championship series. Meanwhile, the Nationals are looking to force a fifth and deciding game tomorrow. So it'll be the Cardinals and the Nationals in the NLDS on TBS. And welcome, everyone, to Washington. Dick Stockton along with Bob Brenly. We'll be hearing from David Aldridge shortly. And, Bob, at the outset of this series, we talked about the experience of the Cardinals, the inexperience of the Nationals, and it's become a factor.
Well, unfortunately for the Nationals, it has become a huge factor in this series. It's one thing to try to alert your players as to what they're going to experience in the postseason. It's a completely different story when you have players who have been through that, especially recently, and that's the case with the Cardinals. A lot of postseason experience by their players. Huge edge to Davey Johnson in the manager's seat. Unfortunately, Davey can't throw it, hit it, or catch it for the Nationals right now.
And you also said at the outset for the Cardinals' best chance that their offense would have to come through in this series. And they have 20 runs scored in games 2 and 3.
You know, there are certain physical, mechanical things every hitter has to do to be successful, but above and beyond that, it's your preparation, breaking down video, knowing what opposing pitchers are going to try to do against you. And in that respect, Mike Matheny gives a lot of credit to Mark McGuire, the hitting coach, and John Mabry, the assistant coach, for coming up with that game plan.
So if you're Davey Johnson, the manager of Washington, what kind of buttons do you press to stay alive in this series?
I don't think Davey's going to change a thing, Dick. We talked to him before the ball game. He said he may have some individual meetings with players if he feels they needs it, but he's not the kind of guy to call a team meeting. He said he didn't do it all year. It would come off as phony at this point in the season, so business as usual for Davey.
All right, and so the starting pitchers for Game 4, Kyle Loesch, who pitched the Cardinals into the division series by beating the Braves last Friday, and left-hander Ross Detweiler gets the call for Washington. We'll be back with the starting lineups in just a moment. A few more before this game moves along sunny skies. And for more on the Nats starter Ross Detweiler, here's David Aldridge.
Well, Dick, Ross Detweiler was a revelation for this Nationals team, having won the last spot in the starting rotation out of spring training. Been terrific most of the season, but toward the end of the season had a few shaky outings, and it was left to the Nationals relief pitcher Mike Gonzalez, one of the few players on this team with postseason experience, to kind of take Detweiler under his wing. He told Detweiler that he has to bring out more of that bulldog mentality when he's on the mound. Use that 96-mile-per-hour fastball with the natural sink on it. He told Detweiler, leave the passive-aggressive stuff here in the clubhouse. Be a great guy in here if you want, but I need you to be an animal out on the mound. Nick?
And he's going to have to be, David, as we're going to take a look now at the lineup that he'll face for the Cardinals. John Jay in center field, Carlos Beltran in right, Matt Holliday batting third in left field, Alan Craig at first base hitting cleanup, Yadier Molina behind the plate, followed by David Freese at third. Daniel Descalso will be at second, Pete Kozma at shortstop. Same lineup used by both managers for all the games. Kyle Loesch batting ninth for the Cardinals, facing Ross Detweiler, 10-8 on the year in 27 starts.
Yeah, real good arm. A #1 pick back in the 07 draft. The first player from that 07 draft to reach the major leagues. You see his numbers in 27 starts this season. Power sinker in the mid 90s. Also throws a curveball and a straight changeup. His sinker sets the stage for everything else. So use that a lot early in the count. He'll go to that changeup on occasion in those 2 strike counts. It's a really good swing and miss pitch for Ross Detweiler.
And he grew up a Cardinal fan. Grew up in Wentzville, about 40 miles from the Arch. And he and his family used to watch Cardinal games growing up, but now he opposes them and trying to get the Nationals into a deciding game. So Detweiler on the mound, who has been outstanding at home. He has lost only once previously in 12 home starts, so he's banking on that. And we're set to go. And what an explosion by the Cardinals in the last 2 games of this series. Amazing that the Washington pitchers have allowed the Cardinals 10 runs by the end of the second inning in the last 2.
Well, I think it's a combination of a couple of things, Dick. The lack of execution on the part of the Nationals pitchers to get the ball where it needs to be to get a good result. And when they do make those mistakes, the Cardinals have punished them. They have not missed mistakes in this series.
John Jay, who has 2 hits in each of the last 2 games. And the first pitch is ball 1. Jay leading the Cardinals with 4 runs batted in. And of course, everyone will remember that great catch he made in the 6th inning of the second game. 1-1 to Jay.
And it wouldn't be a postseason baseball game, Dick, without mentioning the shadows and the sun. It should be a factor through the first 3-4 innings of the ball game, at which point it'll only be an issue for the outfielders looking up into that afternoon sun.
Fly ball will go out of play down the line in left field. And talking to Davey Johnson about the shadows, he thought the sun would be a more important factor early on.
Well, the Nationals outfielders have talked about it repeatedly throughout the summer and the regular season, how tough it is to track fly balls in the outfield here at Nationals Park.
Crowd wanted it, and so did Detweiler, but the pitch is a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jim Joyce calling balls and strikes this afternoon.
Just a little bit too much fading action. That's that sinking fastball that started on the inside corner but just dropped off at the very end.
Ground ball off the fist, hit to Ian Desmond. 1 out in the Cardinal first inning.
Well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at the Nationals defensively here this afternoon. As Dick mentioned, same lineup as we've seen throughout this postseason. Morse, Harper, and Worth left to right across the outfield. Ryan Zimmerman and his sore right shoulder down there at third base. It'll be Ian Desmond, Danny Espinosa up the middle of the field. Adam LaRoche over at first. Kurt Suzuki's done a great job blocking balls behind the plate in this series. And left-hander Ross Detweiler on the mound.
4 errors committed by the Nationals. And the first pitch to Carlos Beltran is down low, ball 1. Beltran, all 5 of his hits have come from the 6th inning on. And of course, he hit 2 homers in the second game of the series in St. Louis. 2-0 now to Beltran.
Well, Beltran is really 2 different performers. He's a grinder throughout the regular season that will come up with a lot of big hits. He'll need some time off because of injuries from time to time, but really shines in the postseason. This is his time of year.
And it's popped up. Shortstop Desmond shades his eyes, makes the catch. 2 down for the Cardinals. And that will bring up Matt Holliday.
Even on that shallow pop-up in the infield, Ian Desmond using his bare hand to shade his eyes against the afternoon sun. Ultimately 2 hands on that ball for the second out of the inning.
So a 2-out Matt Holliday, the left fielder, who was 3 for 12, hitless in the first 2 games, but he had 3 hits in yesterday's game, all singles. And a changeup is over for a strike.
Now, Holliday fouled the ball off his left shin in the game yesterday. I asked Mike Matheny how he was today, and he said that the trainers for the Cardinals, head athletic trainer Greg Hawk and assistant trainer Chris Conroy, said that Holliday has dinosaur bones. So it's going to take more than a foul ball off the shin to get him out of the lineup.
Hopefully someday we won't find them lying somewhere. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Holliday. 2 out quickly here in the Cardinal first. And there's a comebacker. And Detweiler retires the Cardinals in order in the first inning. Cardinals don't score. Nationals coming up. Johnson hasn't changed it at all either. Jason Worth leading off, Bryce Harper hitting second, Ryan Zimmerman in the 3rd slot, and Adam LaRoche batting cleanup. Michael Morse batting in the 5th position. Ian Desmond, who has wielded the hot bat, hitting 6th. Danny Espinosa, the switch hitter, in the 7th spot. Kurt Suzuki batting 8th, and Detweiler, the pitcher, batting 9th against the pitcher who hurled the Cardinals into the division series, Kyle Loesch.
And with all the good arms in his Cardinals pitching staff and all the postseason history, Kyle Loesch has been the ace of this Cardinals staff all season long. The 16-3 record during the regular season, ERA under 3. Features a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. This guy has a very slow pulse. We talk a lot about position players and hitters being able to slow the game down. Kyle Loesch is able to do that out there on the mound.
And he has a chance to hurl the second postseason clincher in 6 days. Trying to get the Cardinals into another series and will face Jason Worth, who has 1 hit in each of the first 3 games but has struck out 5 times. So Worth will be followed by Harper and Zimmerman in the bottom of the first. 1-0. Look up and down the Nationals order, the batting averages. You see 067, 091, a couple of those. They have struggled at the plate. and waiting for the breakout game that they hope will be today.
It was funny talking to Davey Johnson before the game today, and he said that Michael Morse came into his office and asked, have you thought about moving Desmond up in the lineup? And Davey, kind of joking with Michael Morse, said, you just want to hit in that 6th spot because that's the hot spot in the lineup right now. He and Desmond 7 for 12 in that 6th spot in the lineup, and I think he was assuming Michael Morse wanted to take over that 6th spot.
They're fighting for number 6. When have you heard that?
Yep.
2-1 to Jason Worth in postseason for the 7th time, one of only 4 national players who have postseason experience. There's a fastball. Strike evens the count 2-2. Nationals won 98 games, most in the big leagues, and won 10 more games than the Cardinals in the regular season. Popped up to shallow left field. Calling for it is Cosma. And the young Cardinals shortstop makes the catch for out number 1.
Take a look at the rest of the Cardinals defensively. Once again, pretty familiar looking unit if you've been with us for the first 3 games of this series. Holiday, Jay, and Beltran left to right across the outfield. It'll be David Freese, Pete Cosma, Daniel Descalso, and Alan Craig third to first across the infield. Yadier Molina, the undisputed leader of this Cardinals defense behind the plate. And right-hander Kyle Loesch on the mound, who is a tremendous defender, has not made an error since May of 2010.
So it's always good to have that outstanding fielding pitcher there. And there's the fans urging on Bryce Harper. No one want to see deliver more and snap out of his funk than Bryce Harper. And swings and misses for a strike. The only hit he has in the series is a double in the 7th inning of game number 2. He has fanned 6 times.
Dick, I personally think that if Bryce Harper can get on base and start to make some things happen, it would go a long way toward jump-starting this Nationals offense. He has been the spark plug for this team all season long. Even when he slumped late in the season before a strong finish, he was still getting on base. He was still stealing bases. He was creating havoc with his legs. Just haven't been able to get him untracked in this series where he is a factor.
Good breaking ball by Loesch, and the count is 1-2. And of course, he was under the weather in St. Louis, and you talked to him, and his temperature was pretty high, wasn't it?
Carrying a 102-degree temperature for games 1 and game 2. Started to feel a little bit better on the off day. Says he feels much better today.
Pops it up. Descalso, the second baseman, makes the catch. So 2 pop-ups to infielders, and there are 2 away for the Nats, and that'll bring up Ryan Zimmerman, third baseman. Zimmerman, who has one of the 2 national home runs. He has 2 hits in each of the last 2 games, so maybe he's going to get going for the Nats. Ball 1. Third baseman David Freese is playing deep at third and close to the line to defend against a shot down the third base line. Call strike.
Yeah, one of the big trends in baseball now, Dick, is the overshifting defensively based on spray charts and past history. Where does a guy usually hit the ball? Where does he hit the fastball? Where does he hit the off-speed pitch? And we've seen a lot of teams go to the exaggerated shifts, especially a pull shift on a hitter like Ryan Zimmerman. But other than Freese moving a little bit closer to the line at third, everybody else playing straight up.
2 balls and a strike to Zimmerman. Hard to believe with this Washington hitting team up and down the lineup that their RBI leaders are Zimmerman with 2 and Tyler Moore, who knocked in the winning runs in the 8th inning of game 1. He has 2. Good sweeping breaking ball, and it evens the count 2-2.
Well, you can certainly point the finger at the Nationals offense and say they haven't done their job in this series, but if you're going to do that, you also have to point a finger out to the mound and say that the Cardinals pitchers have done a better job of executing their pitches.
Series ERA of 1.67 for the Cardinals. And call strike 3. Ryan Zimmerman goes down, so a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Oates. We've completed 1 here in Washington. No score. All right, Matt, thank you very much. And, of course, our condolences go out to the Girardi family. Had to be a very tough time for the Yankee skipper. Alan Craig leading off for the Cardinals takes a strike as St. Louis bats in the second inning. Craig, 3 of 4 hits in the series have been of the extra base variety. He has one of the Cardinal home runs as well. And lifts this out to left field. Coming on is Morse. And he makes the catch. Craig is retired for the first out. And that'll bring up Yadier Molina, the Cardinal catcher.
Yadier Molina is a good hitter under any circumstances. Runners on base, nobody on base, 1 out, 2 outs, doesn't matter. He's just a good hitter, but I think he's a much more effective hitter when you give him weaknesses in the defense to shoot at. You have a runner at first base and the first baseman holding on that runner. He's more likely to look for a pitch away and shoot it through the right side of the infield. Runners on third base less than 2 outs. He's more likely to look for a pitch up in the zone. He can lift in the air to the outfield. He's a very good situational hitter, especially with runners in scoring position.
And in fact, has a pretty good eye as well. As yesterday, he walked with the bases loaded, forcing in a run. This time he hits a sharp one-hopper to Espinosa. And Molina's retired for out number 2 with David Freese stepping in.
That ball was hit right on the button, right at Danny Espinosa for an easy out at first base. That's a big old hang with him right there. As a hitting coach, you just tell the guy, good approach, good contact, bad results. Stay right where you're at.
Two down, and David Freese, the batter, hitting .417, 5 for 12, and misses a good fastball up and in. 3 of his 5 hits have been doubles thus far. One and one now to Freese.
That's another story of this series, Dick. The damage that the Cardinals have been able to do when they do put the ball in play. 14 extra base hits for the Cardinals, only 4 for the Nationals, and it gets back to the opposing pitching. If you make those quality pitches around the edge of the strike zone and stay down, you're going to give up contact, but it's going to be weak contact. If you make mistakes in those zones where the Cardinals hitters can get the barrel on it, they've been doing some serious damage.
And Detweiler now falls behind 3 balls and a strike. Cardinals have done well against left-handed starters this year. They have the top batting average against southpaws, and their 31-17 record is 3rd in the big leagues. 3-1 pitch, and there's the first base hit of the game. A line drive single to center field, so Freese is on with a 2-out base hit. Play TBS Social Dugout, presented by Samsung Galaxy S3. Predict the plays before they happen, score points, compete against your friends, and earn rewards. Download the app by visiting tbs.com/social dugout. Daniel Descalso talked about the hitting that Bob referred to at the outset. How about the bottom part of the order? Descalso with a home run, as does Pete Kozma. The 7 and 8 hitters have gone deep in this series. Two-out runner at first is David Freese. One and one.
Yeah, there really is no breather in this Cardinals lineup right now in this postseason. They can beat you from the #1 spot all the way down to the pitcher spot, as Chris Carpenter proved in the game yesterday.
So after falling behind to Freese, right now Detweiler is ahead of Descalso. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we have the white towels waved by Cardinal fans. We have the red towels waved by the Nats fans. Foul off the foot of Descalso. So the count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right now, let's check in with David Aldridge.
Well, guys, you mentioned Descalso and Pete Kozma. Davey Johnson said this morning that we're making Descalso look like Rod Carew with power. The bottom of the lineup has really done significant damage to the Nationals pitching staff. They expected it from the top 4 or 5 guys. They did not expect it from the bottom 3 or 4 guys.
Not at all. And of course, the sacrifice fly by Descalso yesterday made it 4-0. That was a big run for St. Louis. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And into the dirt. Suzuki once again making a stop with a runner on base, and the count now 2-2.
Well, if you're a young catcher out there watching this particular series, you would do well to tape it and make notes, because these 2 catchers have put on a clinic blocking pitches in the dirt.
And a foul ball fielded by LaRoche. Very close to the line, and the first base umpire Alfonso Marquez was right there to make the call.
Now LaRoche tries to shorten up and get to this ball before it goes foul, but unfortunately for the Nationals, you could clearly see he picked it up on the wrong side of the line, even though he's standing right on the base.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. David Freese with the lead at first, and the count is full now, 3-2 to Descalso, who started 94 games, most of them at second base this year. And with the count 3-2 and 2 out, Freese will be running. There he goes, and a foul ball. So Descalso making Detweiler work early. The 9th pitch of this at-bat is coming up next after Detweiler retired the Cardinals with 11 pitches in the opening inning. There goes Freese, and another foul ball fielded by Chris Maloney, the first base coach.
Well, when they're clicking on all cylinders, this is what the Cardinals offense can do to an opposing pitcher. They just grind out at bats. They work deep counts. They foul off balls with 2 strikes, run up that pitch count, put opposing pitchers in high leverage situations where it's a lot more taxing to attack that opposing hitter.
Again, the 3-2 pitch, and it's grounded to Espinosa, and that will do it. 1 hit, 1 left in the middle of the second inning, no score. In the middle of the second, no score. Watch bonus camera angles for the Division Series and ALCS games with postseason.tv. Get started now at MLB.com. Kyle Osh led the major leagues with the best winning percentage at 16-3, a career high for him, as were his 143 strikeouts. He had no decision in 2 late starts against the Nats, but did not pitch particularly well, and there are several Washington hitters who hit him extremely well. Adam LaRoche will lead off, and he fouls it off. The cleanup hitter for the Nationals has a home run, and that was in game 2, and that's his only hit in the series. He's 1 for 11.
Yeah, when you really get down to it and start crunching numbers, Dick, Adam LaRoche and Bryce Harper have as many hits combined in 3 games as Chris Carpenter had yesterday. So that kind of puts it into perspective.
1-1 to Adam LaRoche, who led the Nats with 33 home runs, and soon will celebrate his 33rd birthday. Has gone deep once against Kyle Osh. Good breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Good strike slider that time, took a little off, just guided it up there to the heart of the plate. Adam LaRoche took up for a called strike, and now you really got a battle against Kyle Osh. A lot of different weapons, a lot of ways he can go after you. Change up that time, fading off of the outside corner, hoping to get LaRoche to chase with a 2-strike count. Good take.
2-2 to Adam LaRoche with Michael Morse on deck. And then Ian Desmond to follow. And that just missed. So a full count to LaRoche, leading off here in the second for Washington. Slowly hit to the right side, and it'll bounce foul. Nationals are looking for that spark. It's something they had all year. In fact, the general manager, Mike Rizzo, after everyone said, gee, we lost a home game and we're down 2-1, he says, don't jump off a bridge. We've won 2 in a row before. But of course, he's got to win 1 before he takes 2.
Yeah, really, that has to be the Nationals' attitude. They can't worry about winning 2 games. They just have to win today. You take it 1 game at a time. It's the biggest cliche in sports, but at this time of year, that absolutely has to be your focus. Stay in the moment. Stay with this game.
3-2 pitch, another foul ball, and if the series does go to the limit tomorrow night, Gio Gonzalez, who was their game 1 starter, who struggled with his control early in the game, but remember, he won 21 games to lead the league, would be on the mound.
A little courtesy cleanup of home plate here by Jim Joyce. That ball was fouled off the front leg of Adam LaRoche, and Jim Joyce is taking a little extra time to make sure that plate is really clean before we get back under play here.
We mentioned Marquez, the first base umpire. Ed Hickox is at second. Paul Emmel, the third base umpire. Marvin Hudson mans the left field line, and Joe West the right field line. Here's the payoff pitch again, and a drive hit deep to right field, but foul. Probably the best swing other than the home run LaRoche has had in this series.
And you can see the excitement from the crowd here at Nationals Park. Solid contact finally by a Nationals hitter. Unfortunately, LaRoche a little bit too far out in front and hooks it down that right field line for a foul strike.
In the air, deep to center field. Jay is way back. Jay looks, it's gone.
Talk about the Cardinals grinding at bats. A real good grinding at bat for Adam LaRoche. Ultimately gets a pitch down and out over the plate right where he likes it. After solid contact on the foul ball on the pitch before, he squares one up to straightaway center field to give the Nationals the lead.
And there is the dugout. They haven't had that much to cheer about in the last 2 games, but the Nationals draw first blood here with Adam LaRoche lead-off home run in the second inning off of Kyle Loesch. Here's Michael Morse, the left fielder. And this crowd still buzzing over that home run over the center field fence. First postseason run scored in the district since October 7th, 1933. It's been a long drought, to say the least.
Yes, it has.
1-1 to Morse.
And I'll tell you, Dick, one thing teams playing against the Nationals during the regular season feared was that big home run, because they have guys up and down their lineup that can hit the ball out of the ballpark as well, and they tend to get into a homer frenzy. I mentioned that series against the Cubs earlier this year when the
off the fist, and Alan Craig will make the play.
Yeah, the Nationals had back-to-back 6-homer games against the Cubs and then 4 on getaway day. When they get it rolling, they have a lot of thump up and down the lineup. That's a pitch he pulled foul. It was down and over the inner part of the plate. LaRoche comes right back with a pitch down and a little bit farther out over the plate where LaRoche could get his arms extended and drive it out of here to center field.
That was the second home run, of course, that LaRoche has hit against Kyle Loesch. And with 1 out, here is Ian Desmond. So while the National hitters have struggled, not so for Ian Desmond. He has been on fire. hitting .583, 7 hits in 12 trips to the plate. 3 hits in each of games 1 and 3, and leading the club in base hits. Strike 1 to Desmond.
And Dick, we mentioned it in St. Louis, in the shadows there at Busch Stadium. It figures that Desmond would be swinging the bat well. He has a very quick, short swing. He doesn't try to overpower the ball. He keeps his mechanics very tight up there at the plate. He's a guy that's less likely to be affected by the shadows.
Shot right at Freeze for the second out. But the National hitters, especially LaRoche and Desmond, hitting it solidly.
Well, I mentioned earlier the quality of at-bats, and already in this game we're seeing better at-bats from the Nationals hitters.
2 down, the base is empty, and here is Danny Espinosa, the switch hitting second baseman. He has 1 hit in the series, has sacrificed twice, and has struck out 5 times. Looks at ball 1 high. Popped up and behind the Cardinal dugout. Nationals have led only twice in the series as we are in the early stages of game 4. Took a 1-0 lead in the second inning of the opening game in St. Louis, and then got 2 in the 8th to win 3-2. But the Cardinals ran away with games 2 and 3. And it's 2-1 to Espinosa. If he gets aboard, Kurt Suzuki will come to the plate for the Nats. Here is Suzuki, and we've talked about what he has done behind the plate. Two and 2 now to Espinosa.
Espinosa, switch hitter, hits for a much higher average from the right side of the plate, but his power is from the left side. 14 of his 17 home runs this season has come as a left-handed hitter.
And he does have home runs off of Kyle Loesch this year. Hit .296 against the Cardinals. Two out, the 2-2 pitch, strike 3, and Espinosa strikes out for the 6th time. But it was Adam LaRoche with the leadoff home run to give Washington the 1-0 lead as we go to the 3rd. Cardinals coming to bat in the third, trailing 1-0, and Cardinals and National fans follow their teams with the Team Stream app. Download Team Stream, choose your teams and your set. Get Team Stream from Bleacher Report today. Well, here's Pete Kozma, shortstop, making a name for himself in this series, taking over for Rafael Furcal at shortstop, who had an elbow injury, and the first pitch is a strike. Huge 3-run home run in the second inning, really helping the Cardinal cause yesterday. Kozma 2 for 10, and the count 1-1.
You know, when Peter Kozma came over to the Cardinals, or came up rather from the minor leagues, they just wanted him to catch the ball. They just wanted him to be a solid defensive shortstop and make the plays he should. Anything he did with a bat was considered a bonus. He had never been a big-time hitter at the minor league level, but swinging a hot bat here in the postseason.
1 ball and 2 strikes, and this was the big 3-run drive yesterday.
Fastball down and in, really didn't have to do much, just get the barrel of the bat on the ball, hit it right down that left field line for a home run.
Detweiler has the count in his favor. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kozma. And the changeup is low and in the dirt, and it was revealed that Kozma very nearly got cut from the 40-man roster this year. So you want to talk about an underdog who came back and survived on the roster, and now making a contribution late in the year and, of course, in postseason. Another changeup, and the count is full. Ross Detweiler, first-round pick of the Nationals in '07 out of Missouri State, and was the first player drafted by Mike Rizzo as a Nationals executive. Here's the 3-2 pitch up high, ball 4, and Kozma draws a leadoff walk here in the third. So coming to the plate will be the pitcher Kyle Loesch, checking with the third base coach Jose Akendo, and obviously will be looking to sacrifice with John Jay, the top of the order, waiting on deck.
12 successful sac bunts during the regular season.
And a good one here down to LaRoche, who tags Loesch for the out, and going to second is Kozma. Sacrifice 3 unassisted.
Well, those leadoff walks are never a good idea, Dick, but especially to the number 8 hitter. It really sets it up. It allows Mike Matheny to use Loesch to put down the sac bunt, move the runner into scoring position. Obviously, with 1 out, nobody on base, Loesch is going to have to swing away, and you like your chances of getting him out under those circumstances. But here, a productive sacrifice bunt, moving a runner into scoring position.
And an opportunity for John Jay, as we mentioned, with 4 runs batted in, leading the Cardinals in that department. Kozma on at second base with 1 out in the third. Nationals leading 1-0. Ball 1 to Jay. Detweiler has not pitched since September 30th, and that was against the Cardinals in St. Louis, and he was knocked out in the third inning, giving up 7 runs. Allowed a home run to Beltran as the Cardinals won. Detweiler says, "I try not to remember that game." Slowly hit to shortstop. Desmond bobbles it, and back at third, and risky. Kozma very nearly overran third and had to slide back in. Everyone is safe, and runners now at first and third with 1 out. And shaken up is Kurt Suzuki.
I'm guessing that John Jay may have perhaps caught him with the backswing here after making contact. The bat comes around and rattles around the elbow and the right knee area of Kurt Suzuki. It's a misplay that time by Desmond. Didn't quite get the glove down far enough, but presence of mind to know that he might have a play on Kozma rounding the bag too far at third base.
And it'll be an error charged to Desmond, and the applause is the fact that Suzuki appears to be all right. So Lee Kuntz, the trainer for the Nationals, out to tend to Suzuki and taking a few warm-up tosses from his pitcher.
No intent on the part of John Jay. This is just incidental contact as the bat breaks in his hands and the barrel spins around his back and catches Kurt Suzuki. Unfortunately, he got hit with the blunt end of the bat rather than the sharp end.
Well, here's Carlos Beltran. And as we mentioned, he homered in that September 30th outing against Detweiler. Runners at first and third and one out. Beltran popped to short. His first time up. So 5 errors committed by the Washington defense in this series. Pitch up, ball 1.
That's one thing to keep an eye on with Ross Detweiler. If he's consistently missing up at the top of the strike zone or above, that's a red flag for the Nationals. They need him to be down with that sinking fastball in the low to mid 90s to get the ground balls the Nationals are looking for.
And it's in the air to right field. And now called off by Bryce Harper. Makes the catch. Here comes Kozma, and he scores, and the runner goes to second. So Jay goes to second. I don't know what kind of a chance Harper had of getting Kozma, but because the throw was thrown all the way in, Jay moves into scoring position.
Perhaps a youthful mistake here. Bryce Harper with a very strong throwing arm, but flat-footed that far away from home plate, there's no chance you're going to throw that guy out at home plate. If you are going to throw that direction, you need to make sure it's a low enough throw that it can be cut off to hold that runner at first base. Instead, Bryce Harper airmails it over everybody. Very easy to read for John Jay over there at first base, and he moves into scoring position himself with 2 outs.
So Beltran with a sacrifice fly gets his 4th run batted in of this series, and the score is 1-1. Here's Matt Holliday, and he takes strike 1. Runner at second, 2 out. Cardinals have tied it here in the top of the 3rd. Holliday bounced one back to Detweiler in the first inning. And it's 1-1. I like that. Dinosaur bones. After fouling one off in the 8th inning of yesterday's game, and was pretty sore. 1-2 now. Detweiler trying to get out of this, having given up only 1 run. Two and 2 on the breaking pitch inside.
It's a breaking pitch from Detweiler, bounced in the dirt, hoping to get Holliday to chase a pitch out of the zone. But once again, good discipline by a Cardinals hitter, running a deep count here, making Detweiler really work to get this 3rd out of the inning.
And now Suzuki will go to the mound. He and Detweiler getting on the same page signal wise. It all started with that walk to Kozma and allowing Loesch to sacrifice, and then John Jay reaching on an error. Sacrifice fly getting the Cardinals tying run home. And the count is full. 3-2 to Holliday.
Got a reaction from the crowd, but the pitch tracks will show that ball off the plate inside. A good location, not necessarily a strike, but a good pitch for Detweiler to push the right-handed hitters off the plate from time to time, hopefully opening up that outside corner.
Detweiler for the 3-2 pitch. Strike 3. Holliday really upset with that call by Jim Joyce, was on his way to first. Cardinals, however, tie it up 1-1. And welcome back to Washington. Dick Stockton along with Bob Brenly and David Aldridge were tied 1-1 as the Nationals come up in the third inning. So the Cardinals answered the Nationals run, and it'll be Kurt Suzuki who was shaken up on the swing by the bat and was all right. So Suzuki, who singled home the first run of the series in the second inning of game one and is 0 for 10 since. He'll be followed by the pitcher Ross Detweiler and the top of the order Jason Worth. Kyle Loesch, now in a 1-1 game, gets the first pitch over for a strike.
Same spot in the batting order where the Cardinals were in the top half of the third inning. You remember the leadoff walk to Cosma, the sac bunt by Loesch, a manufactured run, if you will, by the Cardinals. Davey Johnson hoping for the same here with their number 8 hitter at the plate leading off the bottom of the third.
1-1 the count to Kurt Suzuki. Of course, Suzuki became the regular catcher after a trade with the A's early in August. And his bat came alive last month off the end of the bat, and the count 1-2 to the catcher. Davey Johnson, who played second base for the other team in the area, the Baltimore Orioles, to great success under the great manager Earl Weaver. 1-2 pitch, fisted to second base. Descalso makes the play, and there's one out. You heard some applause when we came back after the commercial break. A special moment. For more, here's David.
Well, Dick, one special military family was brought to Washington by the Army. The Banda family has been stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany, while their dad and husband Hector has been deployed in Afghanistan the last 5 months. Now, Ethan Banda, the 7-year-old, wanted to come to Washington. The Army flew him here, and then they had an extra special present for him. They brought their father Hector to see the kids and to reunite with the family. Special moment, Dick.
Boy, it always is, isn't it?
Very nice, very nice.
And a standing ovation by the crowd here. And there he is, the Banda family. Ross Detweiler. And a call strike. And the tears. You can see the wiping away the tears. So happy to see his father.
I don't think he's going to let go anytime soon.
You're right. Ball and 2 strikes to Detweiler, who was 2 for 45 this year. Get all the souvenirs you can. You deserve them, and make a memory. And Detweiler strikes out, and there are 2 down here in the Nats' third inning. That is the 3rd strikeout of the game for Kyle Loesch, and it will bring up the top of the order, Jason Worth.
Jason Worth going to take a little extra time going up to the plate here, give Ross Detweiler an opportunity to get back in that first base dugout, get a sip of water, towel off a little bit before he has to go back out to the mound for the top half of the 4th. That's what a good leadoff hitter does. Recognize the pace and rhythm of the game and what kind of time does my starting pitcher need. I'll take a little extra time getting up to the plate.
And I'm sure Detweiler is grateful for that.
Absolutely.
First pitch taken for ball 1. Jason Worth, by the way, with a relationship with a former Cardinal. He's the grandson of Ducky Schofield, former big league infielder who played many of his years with the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Loesch, and the count is 1-1 to Worth. Misses with the breaking ball, and it's 2-1. For Kyle Loesch, his 6th career postseason start. He had one with the Minnesota Twins. The other 4 were with the Cardinals, 3 last year. He was 0-2 and then had a no decision in Game 3 of the World Series. Fastball and the strike, 2-2 to Worth. Three and 2, and if Worth can get aboard, Bryce Harper will get a chance. Kyle Lohse, 34 years old. And gets the fastball, fouls it off. Worth has hit 3 homers off of Lohse in his career. Adam LaRoche led off the second with a home run to account for the Nationals run. A line drive right at Cosma, and a 1-2-3 inning for Lohse. We go to the 4th, 1-1. And we want to welcome the viewers who saw the Giants take 3 in a row and beat the Reds 6-4 in the other National League Division Series on TBS. And here in Washington, we're all tied 1-1, so the Giants advance and will play the winner of this Nationals Cardinals series. Cardinals leading 2-1, can wrap it up tonight. Nationals want to extend it to a 5th and deciding game. 1-1 the score here. Adam LaRoche with a home run in the second for the Nationals, and then in the top of the third, a sacrifice fly by Carlos Beltran tied it up for St. Louis. And the first pitch to Alan Craig is a called strike. Craig fly to left his first time up. It'll be Craig, Yadier Molina, and David Freese here in the 4th inning. And a base hit. Danny Espinosa trying to time his leap, and Craig is aboard. That's his 5th hit of the series, a leadoff single in the 4th.
Wasn't hit particularly well, but placed extremely well. Cued right off the end of the bat of Alan Craig. Got just enough of it to get it over the leaping Danny Espinosa. Like he timed his jump pretty good, just couldn't quite get up there high enough.
So with the leadoff single, and that is the second hit of the game for the Cardinals. Here is Yadier Molina, who grounded to Espinosa at second, his first time up. And the count is 1-0. Well, with the win by the Giants in Cincinnati, the home teams in the National League Division Series have a record of 1-8 right now, and the only win was the Cardinals in Game 2 in St. Louis. Wow.
So much for home field advantage, I guess, huh?
And there's a shot speared by Desmond. Getting back is Craig, and Molina is retired for the first out. David Freese will come to the plate.
Struck well once again, but right at a Nationals defender. Looked like it got in on Yadier just enough to hit that soft liner to Ian Desmond. He immediately checks across the diamond, but a pretty good read by Alan Craig. He held his ground over there. No chance for the double play.
So with the lead is Craig, and David Freese singled his first time up. 1-0 the count to Freese. By the way, that run by the Cardinals in the third inning was unearned. Came as a result of a walk, a sacrifice, an error by the shortstop Ian Desmond, then the sacrifice fly. Freese takes down low, and it's 2-0. Ross Detweiler, 10-8 on the year, who's been very impressive with an 8-2 record here at Nationals Park in over 90 innings, an ERA of 2.57. Struggled on the road, but pitching at home in this important game for the Nats.
Well, it goes without saying, Dick, these are key counts for Ross Detweiler. When he finds himself behind 2-0, 3-1, even full counts, the ability to make quality pitches, quality strikes around the edges of the zone. I don't think there's a pitcher in the National League that can afford to come right down the middle against a lot of these Cardinals hitters. But quality strikes like that one on the outside corner, if he can continue to execute those when he does fall behind the count, going to make it much tougher to break through against him. Maybe the benefit of the doubt that time from Jim Joyce. That ball didn't appear to get back to the outside corner, but got the call nonetheless.
Craig with the lead at first base, held on by Adam LaRoche. And Freese pops it up to the right side. Danny Espinosa. And he makes the catch. The shadows no longer a factor. They were when we started the game. There is some patches of sunlight that could affect the right fielders. But Freese is retired 2 away, and Daniel Descalso coming to the plate.
Yeah, and the shadows have extended out over the batter's eye in center field as well, and will continue to do so. And that's when the hitters will really start to get a little better look. You can see straightaway center field above the grass berm. You can see the glare off the wall out there. That will gradually go away as the day moves on, and that's when the hitters will really be able to start seeing the ball better.
Big swing and a miss by Descalso, who bounced to second his first time up, strike one. Mark McGwire talking about the shadows. He said if it gets in your head, it's a mental thing, and you start thinking about it, he says you're defeated. That's what he tells his hitters. One and one, as you mentioned at the outset of this broadcast, Bob. Apparently they're listening to what Mark McGwire is saying.
Well, I think so. I mean, he's done such a nice job throughout the regular season. Why should it change in the postseason? Mike Matheny called it a customized daily approach that Mark McGwire and John Mabry come up with for every Cardinals hitter against that day's opposing pitcher. It might be today we want to go out and make sure to not swing at that low sinker from Ross Detweiler. That's a ground ball waiting to happen. Make him get the ball up mid-thigh or above. Look for off-speed pitches up high in the strike zone, pitches we can do some damage on. Whatever it may happen to be, you take that approach right into the ball game with you.
And right now the crowd is looking for a strikeout from Detweiler. 1-2 with 2 out. And that misses outside. 2-2 to the Cardinals second baseman.
The other day against Edwin Jackson, it was very clear that the Cardinals, of course, they knew Edwin Jackson very well from playing behind him last year, but he was going to attack with a lot of high four-seam fastballs, and the Cardinals went to the plate looking for high four-seam fastballs.
And again, it's a full count, 3-2 to Descalso, with Craig at first base, led off with a base hit. Pete Kozma on deck for St. Louis. 1-1 the score here in the fourth. Here goes the runner, 3-2, 2 out, and it'll be Adam LaRoche who makes the play unassisted. Leadoff single wasted by the Cardinals in the middle of the fourth, all even, one apiece. Well, Teddy Roosevelt never wins this race, but the last game of the regular season, he finished first, and now has a great streak, 3 in a row, Bob.
Don't get too full of yourself now, Teddy. 3 in a row, that's nice, but it's not like this is something you're used to. He's pimping it a little bit in front of the other presidents. I don't know. Have a little respect, Teddy.
He's hung in there, though.
Act like you've done it before.
Yeah. He has hung in there. Bryce Harper will lead it off against Kyle Loesch here in the fourth inning. Way out in front of that one, and misses the pitch for strike one. Popped to second his first time up. So Harper now 1 for 16 in the series. Bob talked about how much of a spark plug he has been, and really a keynote hitter for this club. On the inside corner, strike 2, 0-2.
When you start thinking too much in that batter's box, that's what happens. You get a good fastball hitter taking a very hittable fastball on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. Chased a curveball in the dirt the first pitch of the sequence. You just kind of get caught in between. You're always a little behind the fastball, a little out in front of the off-speed pitches. It almost appears like Bryce Harper needs to make up his mind. I'm going to look for one or the other and make sure I hit it if I do get it.
Expect so much from Harper. Got to remember, in less than a week, he'll turn the ripe old age of 20. Pop up down the left field line. Freeze has a play and makes the catch in foul territory for out number 1. Well, moments ago, we spoke with Cardinals manager Mike Matheny, and Mike, just one mistake by Kyle Loesch, a tight game, a little different complexion for this one.
Yeah, it is, and pretty tough at bat. LaRoche put together a nice, did a nice job fouling off a couple tough pitches, and then capitalized on it when Kyle challenged him. But he's a good hitter, and we got a lot of respect for he and that whole lineup over there.
You know, Mike, we talked earlier about Kyle Loesch in the telecast and how he seems to have a very slow pulse. What do you attribute that to? Is it just his experience, or is it just in his nature that he's able to slow things down?
Yeah, I think part of it's a conscious effort, realizing that he's going to be more successful as he just stays within himself and doesn't try and rush anything. But I think the experience, you can't say enough of that as well. And he's just been a big game pitcher and is able to slow things down and execute pitches. That's really been his key.
So Kyle Loesch, who has struck out 3, has not walked a batter, and the only hit was the leadoff home run by Adam LaRoche in the second inning. 1-1 the score, with 1 out here in the 4th inning, and the count to Ryan Zimmerman 1-1, and a base hit to left field. So Zimmerman gets aboard. That's the second hit for the Nationals, and Zimmerman's 6th hit of the series.
Big breaking ball identified quickly by Zimmerman, was able to keep his hands back even as his weight went out onto the front foot. Finds that hole in the left side of the infield.
And that'll bring up LaRoche, who right before hitting the home run hit a deep drive, foul down the right field line, made solid contact there. Strike to LaRoche.
You'll notice on this home run back in the second inning, Molina sets up on the outside corner. The pitch actually catches a lot of the plate. But LaRoche is at his best when he's able to extend his arms on pitches from the middle of the plate away and down. Most pitchers try to jam him in on the hands, especially up above the belt.
Good pitch by Loesch as he jams LaRoche, and Freeze makes the catch in foul territory. Second play he's made there in the inning. So there are 2 outs, and Ryan Zimmerman goes back to first. Let's check in with David Aldridge.
Well, you guys mentioned the slow pulse of Kyle Loesch. It wasn't always that way. When he first came up and played with the Minnesota Twins and then later with the Phillies, he said he just tried to throw as hard as he could for as long as he could. He realized that was not a smart way to approach a game. Now he says he's controlled his emotions of pitching in a big game and just worries about executing pitches that day. He says blocking everything else out was the hardest thing he's learned to do, but obviously he's learned to do it well, Dick.
That's the maturity, David, of a 34-year-old pitcher who's been around. 0-1 to Michael Morse. With 2 outs, Ryan Zimmerman at first base. Each team has a run on 2 hits. Nationals need a win to stay alive and force the 5th and deciding game tomorrow night. Breaking pitch, 0-2.
Every time we talk about a player's ability to slow things down, Dick, I think back to that movie, Any Given Sunday, the Oliver Stone movie about football, and the Jamie Foxx character when he comes into the game and everything's moving too fast. He could hear the lineman, he could see the lineman, he could hear the crowd, he could hear the sidelines. Everything was moving too fast. That's a common trait for a lot of young players.
The 0-2 pitch. Lays off the slider again. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Morse, who bounced to first unassisted. Missed 50 games to start the year and ended up 3rd with 62 RBIs with the club. Zimmerman with the lead, 2 down. Just low. Zimmerman. And Morris strikes out. Good bit of pitching there by Kyle Loesch. One single, man left. We go to the fifth, all even. One the score, and I don't know who's going to win that regatta there, but I don't see a second place boat.
Yeah. I'm betting on the boat we see. That's our ride back to the hotel after the game.
The way they were going, it looks like we're going to get back there in a hurry.
The water ski behind that thing.
Pete Cosma takes a called strike to start the fifth inning against Ross Detweiler. Cosma walk was sacrificed to second and eventually came around on Carlos Beltran's sacrifice fly. Run was unearned. An error figured in that inning. And the count now 1-1 to Cosma. Cosma now has scored in 3 straight games, total of 4 runs. He's a tough kid. We mentioned he's from Oklahoma, outside of Tulsa. But his dad was a Detroit sports fan, and he has loved the Detroit teams. And there's one goal, one thing he hasn't been able to accomplish, is see the Red Wings play in Hockey Town, as they call it. Full count.
Very similar to the at-bat Cosma had back in that third inning, grinding it out, fouled off some pitches, ultimately ran the count to full before taking the base on balls.
And Cosma walks for the second time. Lead-off walk, just as he did in the third inning. And Kyle Loesch will come up, and it'll be the same scenario, looking to sacrifice.
You would certainly expect so. I mentioned it before. Loesch with 12 sack bunts during the regular season, very adept at deadening that ball on the infield, moving runners into scoring position. You would expect it again here. Although we know the Cardinals, the pitchers like to show bunt, then bring the bat back, and then ultimately bring it around and put down the sack bunt, as you see Loesch doing right here.
fouled off.
And there have been occasions, Dick, when they pull the bat back after initially showing bunt, they keep it back and play hit and run or let the pitcher go ahead and swing away. I don't think that's the case in this particular at bat, but we've seen it throughout the regular season where Mike Matheny will turn his pitchers loose if that infield defense is charging too closely.
Looks like Ryan Zimmerman is coming in pretty quickly, and here he comes. Pitch taken for the ball, 1-1. It's a strike. Offered at it.
You know, Dick, this is normally a situation, an obvious sack bunt situation. You'd like to see Kyle Loesch bunt that ball to the first base side. But we've seen the throwing problems that Ryan Zimmerman has had in this series. I don't think it's as important against the Nationals to get that bunt down to the first base side. Just get it down. I don't believe Ryan Zimmerman right now has enough arm to get that lead runner at second base.
And that pitch was on the inside corner and showing bunt, and Zimmerman is practically within a few feet of him as the crowd not happy with that call by Jim Joyce. 2-2 now to Loesch.
The real question was, did he get the bat back in time? And it looked like he maybe did, but it was very late that time. The ball was almost in the hitting zone before he pulled the bat back.
And he bunts fair. LaRoche to second for the force. So a two-strike sacrifice attempt by Kyle Loesch, but Adam LaRoche was in and gets it over to Desmond for the force. Cosma's retired.
He just bunted that ball too hard right at Adam LaRoche, and being a left-handed thrower, that's a very natural movement to scoop up that ball and turn and fire to second base, where Ian Desmond makes like a first baseman, stretches off the bag, and they get the lead runner at second, and now Loesch will be forced to run the bases.
So the scenario which worked well in the third inning when the Cardinals got their run fizzles here, and the batter is John Jay, who's grounded out and reached on an error. Strike to John Jay. Oh, 0-2 now. Detweiler pitching against the team he adored as a youngster, the Cardinals. Has dominated left-handed hitters, and Jay stays alive and fouls it off. Still 0-2. Well, it's so easy to watch The Big Bang Theory on TBS. They air it like 50 times a week, so don't miss The Big Bang Theory when it returns after MLB postseason, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights on TBS. Very funny. And Jay goes down swinging for out number 2.
I think we showed you those numbers. Ross Detweiler holding lefties to a 170 batting average this year. I think it's because he trusts his fastball so much. A lot of left-handed pitchers against left-handed hitters feel like they have to throw breaking pitches. Detweiler's best pitch is his fastball, that low to mid-90s heavy sinking fastball. That's very tough for anybody to hit, but especially a left-handed hitter when you keep it on the inner part of the plate.
And he handled Jay beautifully there. Second strikeout of the game for Detweiler. So here is Carlos Beltran, who popped up and drove in the Cardinal run in the third with a sacrifice fly to right field. Rounder hit to Zimmerman, goes for the force, and that'll do it. So a leadoff walk, and the Nationals pitch out of it.
Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
And along with Bob Brenly and David Aldridge, Dick Stockton here at Nationals Park in Washington in what has been a pitcher's duel as the Nationals come up in the 5th inning against Kyle Loesch. Cardinals have a run on 2 hits. The Nats run on 2 hits and 1 error. And Ian Desmond leading off against Loesch. It'll be Desmond, Danny Espinosa, and Kirk Suzuki. On the first pitch, fly ball hit to left center field. Coming on over and calling for it is Holiday to make the catch. And on 1 pitch, Desmond is retired. Well, moments ago, we spoke with Nationals hitting coach Rick Eckstein. And Rick, I know just 1 run so far, but it looks like the club has a better idea at the plate so far in this early going.
Yeah, I mean, our bats have been fine. We've lined out a couple times hard. I think Kyle Loesch is doing a great job mixing it and changing speeds, using both sides of the plate. But we have a challenge in front of us, and we're up for it.
Hey, Rick, how do you convince your hitters to, we use a lot of terms in this game, trust yourself, trust your hands. How do you convince your guys just to continue to do the things they've been successful with all season under these circumstances?
Well, you just said it. I mean, what we've done all year. And you've got to rely on what you've done all year and trust it. And when you get in the box in this type of environment, you got to learn to control the moment. All the hype and everything that's going on needs to, be pushed away, and you need to really concentrate on winning that moment.
So Danny Espinosa with the count 0-1 and 1 out here in the 5th. Time is called. Craig Stammen is warming up in the Nationals bullpen. He's been in each of the first 3 games of the series. And there's a drive hit deep to right field. Beltran on the edge of the warning track makes the catch. Espinosa giving it a long ride. And of course, it was Espinosa who hit the drive to left center in game 2. And John Jay made this spectacular running catch against the wall.
Yeah, Espinosa's numbers don't look real good as you get a look at right-hander Craig Stammen warming up in the Nationals bullpen. Espinosa's numbers don't look real good, but he just hasn't gotten the results. He's hit some balls hard. You mentioned John Jay made a nice running catch, crashing into the wall in left center, gave that one a ride to the warning track in right. Yes, not finding holes at this point.
So Jay making the play of the series, to say the least. And with 2 down, here is Kurt Suzuki. Bounced out to second. Breaking pitch in the air. Center fielder John Jay. And a quick 1-2-3 inning. All fly balls to each of the 3 outfielders. And we go to the 6th inning. All tied 1-1. Upcoming schedule brought to you by Miller 64. And coming up next, it'll be Game 4 of the Orioles and the Yankees. Raul Ibanez, the hero yesterday. Yankees lead 2-1. And how about the deciding game coming up between the Tigers and the A's after the magic by Oakland last night?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to stop for the Oakland A's. They find ways to come back when it seems least likely that they could get back into a ball game. They find a way to get up off the mat.
How about the entire Bay Area with the Giants taking 3 after the Reds had won 2 games in San Francisco?
I'm sure Bay Area baseball fans are looking forward to a rematch of the '89 World Series, hopefully without an earthquake this time.
Hopefully. Of course, Bob Brenly, former catcher with the Giants. And like Mike Matheny, an old catcher from Ohio. And Matheny in his first year as a manager, and Bob Brenly, of course, managing world champion Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001. Here's a changeup missing outside. 1-1 the count to Matt Holliday. It'll be the heart of the Cardinal order here in the 6th inning, with Holliday followed by Alan Craig and Yadier Molina. 1-1 the score. And it's 2-1 to Craig, who has one of the 2 hits for the Cardinals, a single leading off the 4th.
You mentioned Mike Matheny, an Ohio boy, grew up right outside of Columbus, Ohio, and actually went to the University of Michigan. I won't say that too loud.
So you went to Ohio. You were a Bobcat.
Yeah,
right?
I was a Bobcat from Ohio U, and I assumed Mike Matheny, growing up that close to Columbus, Ohio, would be a Buckeyes fan, but he went to the University of Michigan. He was a Wolverine, and now he's got real problems because his daughter Katie accepted a hockey scholarship to Ohio State.
He's going to wear the maize and blue when he goes to see her play hockey in the sea of red. The 2-2 pitch fouled off by Matt Holliday. Jordan Zimmerman. So Zimmerman, who started game 2 for the Nationals, is warming up. Can't save anyone now, and the season is on the line. 1 and done for the Nationals in this case. It's a 1-1 game. And we're in the 6th inning, 2-2, and Holliday fouls off another. He has bounced back to the pitcher and took a call 3rd strike. Now 3 for 14 in this series. 86 pitch for Detweiler coming up next. So now the count is full, 3-2. Cardinals have had the leadoff man aboard in 3 straight innings. Cosmo with a walk in the 3rd. He scored. Craig with a single in the 4th. Cosmo walked to start the 5th. Here's the 3-2 pitch off the end of the bat. Grounder to Espinosa on the outfield grass. Just gets Holliday for out number 1. So Detweiler stayed with him all the way and gets the Cardinal left fielder 1 away to Alan Craig.
That's that weak contact we were talking about earlier. If you execute your pitches in the spots you want to throw them, you'll get weak contact, as opposed to those drives that have been finding gaps and finding grass in the outfield for the Cardinals offense. This time a good sinking fastball right on the outside corner results in an easy ground ball to second.
So here's Alan Craig, who singled in 2 trips. Craig having a big season, led the Cardinals in hitting. .316 with 38 runs batted in, takes a strike. And despite missing 43 games this year, knocked in 92 runs. Had knee and hamstring problems, healthy now. Ground ball through the hole in left field and a base hit. Alan Craig with his 2nd single in succession. 1 out, 1 on to Yadier Molina.
And we talked about the fact that the Cardinals nor the Nationals use the exaggerated pull shift on the infield. And Alan Craig takes advantage that time. Big hole on the left side between Zimmerman and Desmond. Craig able to find it with that top spin grounder into left field for a base hit.
So here's Molina, bounce to second and line hard to Desmond at shortstop. He's 2 for 12 in this series. Throw to first. Now the Nationals, who had Stammen warming up and then went to Jordan Zimmerman, have both of them working now. Down low for a ball.
Well, you would assume that's in the event Detweiler gets in some more trouble in this inning, you would bring in Stammen to get out of the inning, and then the pitcher spot is due up first in the 6th for the Nationals, so they'd have to pinch hit for Stammen, and then you would assume once again that Zimmerman would be the guy to come in and start a fresh inning.
Tied at 1. There goes the runner, and the pitch fouled off, so they were sending Craig. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Mike Matheny trying to get something going here in a 1-1 game in the 6th inning. Jose Oquendo, the longtime third base coach, flashing the signs to Molina.
Yeah, and that's a byproduct, Dick, of when Yadier Molina first got to the big leagues. He was strictly a defensive catcher, and offensively they'd use him to bunt, they'd use him to play hit and run. Well, now he's developed into an offensive threat. One of the best offensive catchers in the game over the last couple of seasons, but still has that ability to play hit and run if that's what his manager wants to do.
And has learned great bat control at the plate and a good eye, as we said yesterday, drawing a walk with the bases loaded, forcing in a critical run for the Cardinals. Takes a strike, 2-2 to Molina. David Freese is on deck for St. Louis. Roll to third. Zimmerman goes to second. The throw to first. Double play. And safe at second base. The throw by Zimmerman pulled Danny Espinosa off the bag. Molina is out at first base, but Craig is safe at second. And there are 2 down, and coming out to argue is Davey Johnson.
We've heard a lot about the neighborhood play at second base, and in my estimation what that means is if the throw to second base is in the neighborhood, if that middle infielder doesn't have to make any kind of adjustment to the throw, they give you a little more leeway out there around the bag. If the throw is offline at all, the umpire wants to see you make contact with the base while you have the ball in your glove. Clearly Espinosa came off the bag in an effort to field that throw that was wide to the first base side of the bag at second, and the second base umpire right on top of it. Ed Hickox calls Craig safe at second base, but they do get the out at first.
So it's a 5-4-3 put out, and Craig is at second with 2 away to David Freese, who singled with 2 out in the second inning. Crowd, many of them on their feet and vocally upset at that call at second, but as we saw in the replay, a good call. And they're going to walk Freese with first base open intentionally and pitch to Daniel Descalso.
Easy decision here for Davey Johnson. You've got a real tough right-handed hitter that has flourished in the postseason. Anytime you can take the bat out of his hand and get a left-handed hitter to the plate against Ross Detweiler, you'll take that 7 days a week.
Anytime you don't have to pitch to a Mr. October?
Yeah, that helps.
That's a good thing.
Fans still buzzing over that play at second base, but you clearly see right there, ball in glove, foot off the base. Espinosa really got his feet turned around out there at second base. And as we said, Ed Hickox looking right at it, got the call right that time.
So the Cardinals with runners at first and second and 2 out, and here is Descalso, who has been retired twice on ground balls to second and to first. Remember, he's also homered back in game 2. And a strike on the outside corner.
With that pitch, his 100th delivery of the game, Detweiler has tied his season high. He threw 100 pitches in a game one other time during the regular season.
Check swing on the pitch down low, 1-2 to Descalso. Stammen and Jordan both ready in the bullpen.
Tough pitch to take right there for Descalso.
Stays alive. Ross Detweiler, who took over the pitching slot held by Steven Strasburg when he was shut down on September the 7th. A lot of talk about that move, considering the Nats situation now. The pitch in the dirt, good block once again by Suzuki, and the count is 2-2.
All you want to do is keep that ball somewhere in front. Ball off the glove, then the chest protector, but straight out in front of home plate. Because his momentum is carrying him back toward the infield, the runners cannot advance.
Outfielders are not playing deep, straight all the way around. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And the ground ball hit right at Espinosa. And that'll do it. So the Nationals survive. Cardinals lead 2 in the middle of the 6th, still 1-1. One the score as the Nationals bat in the bottom of the 6th, and pinch hitter Steve Lombardozzi facing Kyle Loesch takes up high, ball 1. So Lombardozzi, who is 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter, 1 for 2 in the series, utility infielder who grew up not far from here in Columbia, Maryland. Batting for Detweiler. And the count 1-1 strike. So Jordan Zimmerman is the lone pitcher right now in the Nationals bullpen. There is Detweiler's numbers. You have to say he came in and did his job under terrific pressure tonight.
Absolutely, Dick. Outstanding performance by the young left-hander. Threw some quality strikes when he did miss the zone. He missed in his favor and gave his team a chance to win. That's all you can ask from a starting pitcher.
Cardinals' run was unearned. It came as a result of a sacrifice fly by Beltran in the third inning. And the count 2-2 to Lombardozzi. The other day, Bob looked it up in a hurry that his dad, Steve, played for the Minnesota Twins in the World Series back in '87. Lifts this out to center field. John Jay coming over, makes the catch. And there's one gone in the sixth inning. Lance Lynn has begun to throw in the bullpen for the Cardinals. And how effective was he in game 2 after Jaime Garcia came out early, and it turned out that he had some shoulder problems.
What a weapon to have. Of course, no manager likes to see a starting pitcher go down with any kind of an injury, but when it does happen, you're able to plug in an 18-game winner working out of the bullpen in this series in Lance Lynn.
So with one out, Jason Worth coming to the plate. So the last 4 outs achieved by Loesch were all fly balls. Retired the side on only 4 pitches in the 5th inning. And Worth, who was 0 for 2, fouls it off for strike 1. 1-1 the score. Nationals batting in the 6th inning. Need to win to force a 5th and deciding game tomorrow. The Cardinals trying to wrap it up. Lost the opening game of the series. Come back to win 2 in a row. That pitch is up high, and it's 1-1 to Worth. Two and one. Kyle Loesch, who's trying to pitch the Cardinals into their second postseason series within a week. There's a call strike, and it's 2-2. Loesch beat the Braves in the wild card game last Friday.
There have been a lot of looks back toward home plate umpire Jim Joyce today. However, on that particular pitch, it looked like Loesch was able to catch the outside corner. Looks further away because Yadier Molina had set up on the inside corner and had to reach back across the plate to receive the pitch, but pitch track showed it to be right on the corner.
We talked about Detweiler going over 100 pitches. Loesch now has thrown 75 pitches into the 6th inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch upcoming to Jason Worth. 1 out in a tie game. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch, and Worth goes down for out number 2. Well, get your team's news first. Get the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report, and you'll never miss another big moment with your team. Download Team Stream on the App Store or Google Play. 6 strikeouts for Loesch, and with 2 down, here's Bryce Harper. Harper 0 for 2, popped to second, and fouled out to David Freese, the third baseman.
Yeah, Loesch has actually been more efficient today than he was throughout the regular season. He ranks 6th in the National League in fewest pitches per inning at 14.8.
Popped up into right center, and John Jay makes the catch, and 8 in a row set down by Loesch. We go down to the 7th inning here in Washington, 1-1. been for these Washington baseball fans. You know, this city has had a great history of baseball. They've had 3 different franchises here. The Washington Senators, well, as we said, first postseason since 1933. And they're just waiting for something to happen. And what a great year they had under Davey Johnson, winning 98 games, best record in the league, winning in the tough National League East, considering the Phillies were the dominant team for so many years, Bob. And the Nationals in their first postseason facing a tough St. Louis Cardinal team and needing a win to extend it. And these fans want something to cheer about badly.
Oh, no kidding, Dick. Right now, too. I mean, they're looking forward to the future, and the Nationals figure to have a very bright future with some of the young stars they have on this team are going to continue to get better and better, but they want to cheer right now.
Here's Jordan Zimmerman, and Zimmerman, who has never relieved in the major leagues, did 3 times in the minors, pitched 3 innings on Monday, 12-8 on the year in 32 starts, and called upon here in relief, facing Pete Kozma here in the Cardinals' 7th, and that's a call, strike 2. So Zimmerman is ahead of Kozma 0-2.
Yeah, for Zimmerman in that game 2 start against the Cardinals, it really came down to 1 bad inning in the second. He gave up 4 consecutive hits to start the inning. All 4 of those guys came around to score.
1-2 to Kozma, who has walked his first 2 times and scored the Cardinal run back in the 3rd inning. Kozma goes down, 1 out.
Good fastball from Zimmerman, just pounding away at the bottom of that strike zone. We've talked about it with Detweiler. We've talked about it with Kyle Loesch, and Jordan Zimmerman following the same formula, try to keep the ball down and out of the middle of the plate.
Kyle Loesch, the batter, and he lifts a foul fly off to the right for a strike. So Loesch, who has not thrown too many pitches to this point and has been effective. In fact, he has retired the last 8 batters he's faced. Sacrifice back in the 3rd inning, attempted to sacrifice, and bunted into a force out at second base. And Zimmerman is ahead of him, 2 strikes here. Now 1-2 to Loesch. On deck hitter is John Jay. So Loesch strikes out. Jordan Zimmerman striking out Kozma and Loesch, 2 out here in the 7th, and the leadoff hitter John Jay coming up.
Only 2 hitters, but Jordan Zimmerman certainly looks a lot more like the regular season Jordan Zimmerman than the game 2 starter in this series. Looks very relaxed. We've talked about Kyle Loesch's ability to slow things down. If you talk to people with the Nationals, they say Jordan Zimmerman is that guy on their pitching staff.
So John Jay, who's 0 for 3, reached on an error back in the 3rd inning. And strike 1. Jay is 3 for 8 against Zimmerman. And Zimmerman gets ahead of the first 3 batters, 2 strikes. Nationals run coming with a leadoff home run by Adam LaRoche, his 2nd of the series in the 2nd. Cardinals tied it with a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. And Jordan Zimmerman strikes out the side. Cardinals retired in the 7th. It's the home 7th of a 1-1 game. And welcome back to Nationals Park in Washington. Our Geico game summary. 1-1 the score. Detweiler has departed, pitched very well. Kyle Osh still in there. Beltran with the sacrifice fly, knocking in the Cardinals run, and Adam LaRoche going deep, accounting for the Nationals run. So the Washington Nationals trying to stay alive in this NLDS, coming in with the best record in the National League with 98 wins against the defending world champion Cardinals, who have won 2 after dropping the first game, trying to win here.
Both managers have to be ecstatic with the performance they got from their respective starting pitchers in the ball game today. Kyle Osh still in the ball game and dealing, and Ross Detweiler really stepped up today. 6 innings of 3-hit baseball, gave up only the 1 unearned run. And then Jordan Zimmerman with a very impressive inning of his own, striking out the side. Now the Nationals hoping another Zimmerman will make something happen here leading off the inning.
Ryan Zimmerman took a called third strike and singled. And Kyle Osh, who has struck out 5 and is allowed 2 hits, the home run to LaRoche and the single to Ryan Zimmerman. Tyler Clippard is throwing in the Washington bullpen. Meanwhile, in the Cardinal pen, Lance Lynn and Mark Zepchinski. Zepchinski, the only left-hander on the roster in the bullpen for Mike Matheny. Well, this crowd in anticipation, and they got very enthused over the 3 strikeouts by Jordan Zimmerman. Now they want to be able to cheer some offense by a team that certainly wielded big backs during the regular season. And a strike to Zimmerman, who hit 25 home runs this year, and he's been consistent. 3 of his last 4 years has hit at least 25 homers.
You get to the point in the ball game, Dick, especially a tie game late, bottom of the 7th inning. As a pitcher, you just try to stay away from a hitter's strength at this point. If a guy's a dead pull hitter, you pitch him away. If a guy likes to drive the ball to the opposite field, you might bust him in off the plate. But more than anything else, just stay away from power.
There was a shot foul down the left field line,
which can be an issue pitching to this Nationals lineup, because when they're at their best, they have a number of guys that hit the ball all over the ballpark, including the guy at the plate. Ryan Zimmerman has opposite field power. Adam LaRoche showed tremendous power to straightaway center field back in the 2nd inning. We know Michael Morse has opposite field power. Jason Worth right up and down the lineup. So if indeed Loesch is going to try to stay away from power, the Nationals might think about going the other way.
And a swinging bunt. Loesch quickly off the mound. And he throws out Zimmerman for out number 1. And talking about the home run power, the Nationals were 2nd in the league in homers.
Well, this one's not going to get out of here, Dick. When you hit them on the ground 20 feet in front of home plate, they don't usually leave the ballpark. Good pitch that time by Kyle Osh. Took a lot off. Zimmerman out in front, cued it right off the end of the bat, as you called, a little swinging bunt up the first base side for the first out of the inning.
Well, here's LaRoche, who accounted for the Nats' run with a home run over the center field fence. Only his 2nd hit of the series, but both have been homers.
After pulling a ball foul down the right field line with authority, got a pitch that was a little bit farther out over the plate where he could get his arms extended, and rode it out of here to center field for the only run of the game for the Nats.
Cardinals have out hit the Nats 3-2. Nats have committed the only error. Loesch is 0-1. That's up high. On deck is Michael Morse. So Loesch has to navigate through the heart of the Washington order here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 2-1 to the veteran Adam LaRoche. RBIs for LaRoche. Led all first basemen in that department. And now Kyle Loesch falls behind 3-1. And LaRoche draws a walk. 1-out walk here in the 7th inning. So the lead run is at first base, and Michael Morse, who is 0 for 2, coming to the plate. And coming to the mound is Mike Matheny. Remember, he has Lynn and Zepchinski. And Lynn, with a couple of right-handed hitters and a switch hitter coming up, seemingly would get the call if they make a change. And that walk given up by Loesch is his first of the game.
I think Mike Matheny just wants to hear from Kyle Loesch himself how he's feeling out there on the mound. The one thing you have to be concerned with if you're Mike Matheny is the fact, where did Kyle Loesch miss the strike zone during that at bat? When he walked Adam LaRoche, he didn't miss in his favor the way he was earlier in the ballgame. He was missing all the way across the plate from one side to the other, and that is obviously a huge red flag for a guy who has been missing in his favor all day up until this inning.
So Mike Matheny, first-year manager, who has pressed the right buttons throughout, obviously, for his team to be here, has decided to keep Loesch in to face Michael Morse, who has bounced to first and struck out. And a bounce to the third. Freeze. Descalso. Double play around the horn will end it. So Mike Matheny pays a visit to the mound, and Loesch induces Morse to hit into an inning-ending double play. And we go to the 8th here in D.C., still tied at 1-1.
After a quick meeting on the mound, Kyle Loesch gives his manager just what he was looking for, a one-pitch ground ball right to third base. David Freese initiates the 5-4-3 double play, I mentioned Matheny went to the mound to hear from Kyle Loesch exactly how he was feeling, but after the inning is over, watch skipper Mike Matheny. A little fist bump for Yadier Molina, and then he's going to follow him down the bench and say, hey, listen, Kyle told me how he's feeling. What do you see behind the plate? The catcher's more likely to give an honest answer than the pitcher.
Especially if the pitcher doesn't see the manager talk to the catcher. Well, the new pitcher for the Nationals is Tyler Clippard, 27-year-old from Newport Richey, Florida, in his 5th season with Washington, and coming up through the Yankees organization. Has appeared once in this series, game 1, and pitched a scoreless 8th inning, facing Carlos Beltran, who was 0 for 2, knocking in the only Cardinal run with a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd. First pitch is a call strike. Beltran, Holiday, and Craig against Clippard.
So a first pitch change up there from Tyler Clippard. He will throw that pitch in any count to any hitter. That's his bread and butter. He also has a tailing fastball, a cut fastball, but you'll see a lot of straight changeups.
Blew that fastball by him. And Beltran is in an 0-2 hole here. Mitchell Boggs has gotten up in the Cardinal pen and starts to throw. One and 2 now to Beltran. And a fly ball foul and off the barrier, and the count remains 1-2. David Aldridge.
Well, you know, Tyler Clippard was the closer, the all-star closer for this team, while Drew Storen recovered from surgery, but he really struggled the second half of the season. Davey Johnson says he has to keep putting him back out there. He says we wouldn't be where we are without him.
That's for sure, as Beltran goes down on strikes. So that's the 4th strikeout by a Cardinal hitter.
Came on a high changeup this time from Clippard, not the location he was hoping for, but gets a good result as Beltran gets out in front, swings right through that high changeup.
And that'll bring up Matt Holliday, who is 0 for 3 and now 3 for 15 in the series, has driven in just 2 runs. So Jordan Zimmerman striking out the side last inning. And then Clippard strikes out Beltran here, and the first pitch strike to Holiday. On the outside corner, fastball 0-2 to Holiday.
Really taking advantage of a wide strike zone today by Jim Joyce behind the plate. That ball a couple inches off the outside corner, but gets the call.
Five straight strikeouts by Nats pitchers as Matt Holliday goes down on strikes, and there are 2 gone.
That's a great example of Kurt Suzuki and Tyler Clippard taking advantage of the circumstances. You got Jim Joyce calling a wide strike zone. They continue to scoot that ball farther and farther out off the outside corner. Holiday can't believe it.
So here's Alan Craig, who has 2 of the 3 Cardinal hits, both singles in the 4th and 6th innings. 2 out, nobody on. And there's the breaking pitch, a bit high. 1-0. And the count 2-0.
Well, if you notice, everything Clippard has thrown since coming into the ballgame is on his glove side, away from a right-hander or into the one lefty he's faced in this inning, Carlos Beltran. Everything on that side of the plate.
And it's now a 3-0 count to Craig with Yadier Molina on deck for St. Louis.
I mentioned he'd throw that changeup in any count to any hitter. There was a 2-0 straight changeup that time to Alan Craig.
And taking all the way for the strike 3-1. Craig has 6 hits in the series, including a home run. 2 down, the 3-1 pitch. And Craig walks with 2 away. Coming up next on TBS, it's Game 4 of the ALDS between the Yankees and the Orioles. Yankees lead the series 2-1. Ernie Johnson, John Smoltz, Cal Ripken Jr., and Craig Sager will have it covered. And, of course, once again, Bob and all of us here would like to send our condolences to the family of Joe Girardi. His father, Jerry, passed away last Saturday, and he has been living with that tragic news since that time, and he will be managing the Yankees tonight. 2 down to Molina, who's 0 for 3. Craig the runner at first. He represents the go-ahead run. And a foul fly, and that'll go out of play. Molina only 2 of 13 in this series. Good fastball by Clippard.
Clippard has good stuff, but he's also very deceptive. He has a very high front side. If you watch that left arm and his glove as he comes through with his delivery, really gives the hitter a lot of things to look at before that throwing arm comes through.
So with 2 strikes, the crowd on its feet. And Molina strikes out.
Game 1 of this series, one of the strengths for the Nationals was their bullpen. put up 4 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. Jordan Zimmerman and Tyler Clippard trying to better that mark here in the ball game this afternoon. Zimmerman with 3 punch-outs in his inning of work. Clippard with 3 punch-outs of his own in his inning of work.
And here in the bottom of the 8th inning, outstanding relief again by the Nationals and Mitchell Boggs, 28-year-old right-hander from Dalton, Georgia, and his 78-game appearance, most ever by a Cardinal right-hander. And he'll be facing the dangerous Ian Desmond, who fouls off the first pitch for a strike. Desmond has 7 hits to lead his team in the series, 0 for 2 today. So Kyle Loesch working 7 innings, giving up only 1 run on 2 hits, struck out 5, walked 1. And the 1 run, of course, was LaRoche's leadoff homer in the 2nd inning. Chopper to shortstop. Kozma. And Desmond is retired for the 3rd time in the game, and there's 1 out. That'll bring up Danny Espinosa. Conan being Conan is Conan's favorite pastime. Don't miss Conan weeknights after the MLB postseason, only on TBS. Very funny. So the switch hitting Espinosa took a called 3rd strike and fly to Beltran in right field. Foul back on the screen. So the last 2 games were bombardments by the Cardinal hitters, scoring 10 runs in game 2 and 8 runs yesterday. And this is more like the first game of the series, which was a tight taut pitchers duel, won by the Nationals 3-2. Fly ball hit to right field, where Beltran makes the catch. 2 down to Kurt Suzuki, who is 0 for 2. It's kind of a game, Bob, where we look ahead to the 9th inning when a team is tied or trailing, but we're going to look ahead to David Freese, Daniel Descalso, and Pete Kozma coming up in the 9th inning. Drew Storen is in the bullpen. And the first pitch to Suzuki is taken for ball 1.
Once you get this late in a close game like this, Dick, both teams are going to use their best late inning relievers from this point forward. These are the kind of games that usually hinge on some kind of a mistake, whether it's a physical error, a mental error, a pitcher misses a spot badly, which rarely happens when you get into those good late inning relief pitchers.
That pitch misses inside, and it's 2-0. Nationals have Chad Tracy, their best pinch hitter, on deck. Either way, 2 balls and no strikes. Suzuki trying to keep it alive for the Nationals' best pinch hitter. Fouls it off, and it's 2-1. That's Drew Storen. Two and 2 as Suzuki fouls it back. 2 outs, nobody on base. Mitchell Boggs in relief of Kyle Loesch. Cardinals trying to keep the Nationals at bay and take a lead and win this division series and move on to the National League Championship Series. Nationals trying to stay alive. And the count is full now to Washington's catcher. Tracy would be next if Suzuki gets on. And ball getting away, and Suzuki is just going to be content in trotting down to first base as Molina went after that ball that all the way went to the backstop. So the 2-out walk, and now they say that Suzuki was hit by a pitch, so he gets down to first in that manner. And now we'll have the pinch hitter Chad Tracy coming to the plate. Tracy is 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Remember, he was announced in game 1.
It didn't look like that ball caught any part of Kurt Suzuki. It hit the catcher's mitt of Yadier Molina and went all the way to the backstop.
Our word is that he was hit, or it might have brushed his uniform. In any event, Suzuki is on, and here is Tracy.
Dick, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chad Tracy try to ambush the first pitch for Mitchell Boggs if it's something to his liking, but the numbers would say he'd be much better served to try to get a little deeper into the at-bat. He's only hit .250 this year when putting the first pitch in play. When the count goes to 1-0, the average is .462. When it goes to 0-1, it's .286. So it would seem like it's be to his advantage to take that first pitch and then go to work.
He swings at it and fouls it off.
It's almost a religious thing for a pinch hitter. When you come off the bench, if you get a fastball first pitch somewhere around that strike zone, 99 out of 100 pinch hitters are going to let it go. They want to do the damage and do it quickly. That time Tracy fouled it off to the third base side.
What a big year he had. 12 for 46 with a homer and 11 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, 2 outs. Runner at first base. 0-1 pitch. Getting away from that inside throw, and it's 1-1.
You hear so many times a pitcher talk about making a hitter move his feet. You don't necessarily have to throw it above the waist or near his head. You throw that fastball in near the thighs, and it's going to make a guy move his feet.
And that's sliced out of play, and the count now 1-2 to Tracy. Mitchell Boggs coming on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Got Desmond on a ground ball, Espinosa on a fly to right, and then the pitch apparently hit Suzuki. He's on at first. Chad Tracy batting for Tyler Clippard. 1-1 the score. Bottom of the 8th inning. And strike 3, and the throw to first for the final putout. Suzuki officially drew the walk. It's a moot point. Tracy is out. It's 1-1 into the 9th inning. 1-1 the score going into the top of the 9th inning here in Washington. Drew Storen, the closer for the Nationals, coming on in here, has made 2 previous appearances, picked up the save in game 1 with a 1-2-3 9th inning, and then wrapped up an 8-0 loss with a 9th inning appearance yesterday. The 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Cardinals are 1 for 6 today, with David Freese the only batter who hit safely, and that was back in the 2nd inning. He also walked, and he'll start it off with Del Scasco and Cosma to follow. What a job done by Jordan Zimmerman and Tyler Clippard. Zimmerman striking out the side in the 7th, and then Clippard striking out the side again in the 8th inning, issuing 1 walk in the process. So now here's Freese facing Storen.
Basically just a fastball slider combination from Drew Storen. He does have a straight changeup that he will throw on occasion, but you're going to see a lot of fastballs, a lot of hard sliders.
Breaking ball for a strike.
Mike Matheny rooting hard for David Freese to get on base right here. He would immediately pinch run for him, I'm sure. He takes him down for defensive purposes late in the game anyway. Would probably take the opportunity to get some better speed on the bases.
Check swing, and the count is 1-1 to Freese, who singled and was walked intentionally. Also popped to second. One game here in the top of the 9th inning. Fouled away, and it's 1-2.
Dick, there have been a couple games in this series where you could easily point to the shadows and say that's why the hitters have had trouble. Today you point to the mound and say that's why the hitters have had trouble. Outstanding pitching on both sides.
And the crowd wanted it, just missed outside, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tailing fastball just off the outside corner. Of course, the 44,000 plus here at Nationals Park are looking with biased eyes at that pitch off the outside corner.
Freese lays off the breaking pitch, and the count is full. Trying to get on base, representing go-ahead run in a 1-1 game. Do the Cardinals wrap it up here tonight in game 4, or do the Nationals live for another day? Freese strikes out on a fastball up. 1 down in the 9th.
Missed his spot by a wide margin, but it was so tempting for David Freese to chase that high fastball, just could not catch up.
So there's 1 away. The last 7 outs by the Cardinals have been strikeouts. And here's Descalso, who is 0 for 3. Breaking pitch, 0-1. In fact, it was Descalso who's the last Cardinal to put the ball in play, grounding to second to end the 6th inning. One ball and 1 strike with 1 out. Jason Mott and Lance Lynn working in the Cardinal bullpen. 2-1 now to the Cardinals second baseman.
Well, the National fans figured it out here, Dick. They were waiting for something to cheer about offensively, and other than the Adam LaRoche home run, there's been nothing to cheer about offensively. So now they're cheering for the pitchers. 7 strikeouts in a row.
That breaking ball a bit low, according to Jim Joyce, and it's 3-1.
Well, Jim Joyce, widely recognized as one of the best umpires in the major leagues, but he's had a rough day behind the plate. He's missed a lot of borderline pitches. This slider appeared to catch the knees over the heart of the plate. Did not get the call.
3 balls and a strike to Descalso. And the count now full with 1 out. Out of play.
Grinding at bat here by Daniel Descalso. Making Drew Storen work extremely hard out there on the mound. Storen has shown him a little bit of everything. He's just basically throwing fastballs and sliders, but trying to move them on both sides of the plate to give Descalso a little bit of a different look. And Descalso just continues to foul him off and stay alive.
3-2 and 1 out. Strikes him out. The last 8 outs have been by strikeout.
Well, it's something the Cardinals had done so well in the early part of this series, not chase bad pitches, kind of getting caught up in the emotion of the moment, chasing a high fastball up out of the zone that time from Drew Storen.
2 outs to Pete Kozma. An amazing exhibition by the Washington Relief Corps from the 7th inning to 2 out here in the 9th. Kozma has walked twice and struck out and scored the Cardinal run back in the 3rd. 1-0. Now 2-0.
Yeah, it was a good meeting this time by Kurt Suzuki. He noticed that last pitch. Drew Storen really tried to overthrow that slider. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Don't try to make it better. Just make it consistent.
Matt Carpenter is in the on-deck circle. Now 3-0 to Kozma. Two out, the base is empty. In there. There is Matt Carpenter. Rookie who is an effective pinch hitter this year. 0-2 as a pinch hitter thus far in this series, looking for an opportunity. But Kozma has to get on. And the count is full as Kozma fouls it off. Zimmerman struck out the side in the 7th. Clippard struck out the side with a walk in the 8th. 2 strikeouts for Storen here in the 9th. Count full. Loses him, and Kozma walks with 2 out. And coming to the plate will be Matt Carpenter. As a pinch hitter, was 8 for 31 and drove in 11 runs this year. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter in this series. And batting for Mitchell Boggs. One and 0.
Matt Carpenter very similar to Adam LaRoche in that he does have a hole in his swing on the inside part of the plate, especially up above the belt around the hands. Much better hitter when he can extend out over the plate, and a very good off-speed hitter for strikes.
The lead at first by Kozma. Check to swing, but it's in for the strike. 1-1 to the pinch hitter. These Nationals fans have been on their feet, it seems, for the last 3 innings. Breaking ball missing, 2-1. National pitchers have struck out 10 Cardinals tonight. Two and 2 now to Matt Carpenter. So now it's 3-2, and a very big pitch coming up here because the top of the order and John Jay would be next.
I just hope the defense is awake, Dick. They haven't had to make a play for 2 2/3 innings. Kurt Suzuki, the only defender that's been involved.
It's a 2-man game. Kozma will be off on the pitch, 3-2 and 2 out. There he goes. And a pop fly to shallow left field. Here is Desmond, and Desmond makes the catch. Big play by Desmond. If he doesn't make the play, Kozma scores. He was off on the pitch. Big play by Ian Desmond. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Chance for the Nationals to win it. 1-1. Nationals in the bottom of the 9th inning, and a chance to win it against Lance Lynn. Here are the top 3 hitters in the National lineup coming up and what they've done against Lynn, who has been effective in 2 previous outings. In game 1, he got Worth to end the inning with the bases loaded on a strikeout, and then was the winning pitcher in game 2 with 3 innings of relief after Jaime Garcia came down with an injury. So it's Lance Lynn after Mitchell Boggs worked an inning and Kyle Oates worked 7, giving up 1 run. 1-1, bottom of the 9th inning.
As you might expect, Lance Lynn, being a starting pitcher, has all 4 pitches available: fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, in that order of preference.
Strike 1 to Worth, who is 0 for 3, including a strikeout. Worth has struck out 6 times so far in this series. Game 4 of the National League Division Series. Strike 2 now to Worth. Nationals know if they score here, they win the game and force a 5th and deciding game tomorrow night here. Cardinals are hoping for extra innings and a chance to wrap things up and move on. San Francisco Giants moved on today after losing the first 2 games at home to the Reds, won 3 straight to capture that division series. 2-2 now to Worth. Ryan Matthews is up in the Washington bullpen. Good pitch in on the fist, fouled off, and the count remains 2-2.
And Lynn throwing extremely hard tonight. That last pitch at 97 on the radar gun here at Nationals Park. His average fastball during the regular season just a tick under 93. A little extra adrenaline going right now.
Fouled off. So Worth hanging in there against Lance Lynn, and it isn't often you see an 18-game winner relegated to the bullpen for postseason. That's the story with Lance Lynn in this series. Another foul ball, almost to the identical spot. Well, Worth has been here before. And in postseason 5 times with the Phillies, once with the Dodgers. And it's popped up, foul territory. Alan Craig and Yadier Molina, and it's just out of reach.
That hit something in the Nationals dugout, ricocheted up, looked like it caught Alan Craig on the throat or on the left side of his face somewhere. Hit that bench and ricocheted right back up and caught him on the left side of the face. To reach over and extend into that dugout, and takes a hard right cross to the jaw right there, but stays on his feet.
2-2 pitch. Took something off the breaking ball, and getting a piece of it is Worth.
Battle of the beards here, Dick. Neither one of these guys has seen a razor since before the All-Star break, I guarantee you.
Tenth pitch of the at-bat, and we'll go to 11. No beard on that man.
If he did, you'd see the gray hair. That's what managing will do to you.
And the breaking ball. Full count to Jason Worth. Leading off here in the bottom of the 9th inning of a 1-1 game. Nationals scoring in the second on LaRoche's home run. Cardinals tying it up on a sacrifice fly in the third. Another pop-up. And chasing it out of play is Craig once more.
Well, this is not unusual for Jason Worth. 4.39 pitches per plate appearance, fourth most in the majors during the regular season.
Giving you a good exhibition here.
Yep.
13th pitch will be next. 3-2 and a drive hit deep to left field. Looking up, way back, it's gone. We will have a game 5 of this National League Division Series. Jason Worth lines a home run into the bullpen, and the Nats beat the Cardinals 2-1.
Jason Worth had seen everything Lance Lynn had in his arsenal. Finally gets a fastball right in the middle of the strike zone and absolutely crunches it to left field. A line drive home run into the Cardinals bullpen, near the Cardinals bullpen, to win the ball game.
So the Nationals ride the home run swings of Adam LaRoche and Jason Worth. And this game ends in dramatic fashion. Tremendous relief pitching by both teams down the stretch. And the Washington Nationals force a 5th and deciding game of this series. Three hits for the Nats, 2 of them home runs. And let's send it down to David Aldridge.
Jason Worth, one of the an incredible at-bat against Lynn. He's throwing major gas. How did you turn that last one around?
Oh no, I felt pretty good going in the at-bat. I got a little, I had a little something last night. I was sitting at home watching my boy Raul Ibanez do it. He gave me a little something today.
You guys you weren't sure about the pitching the last couple of days, but tonight you got lockdown pitching, first from Detweiler and then from your bullpen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you weren't sure, but I was sure. We've been doing it all year. We got a great club. I mean, it's a testament tonight. Those guys come out. Jordan comes out of the bullpen. You guys did a great job.
You said yesterday, Jason, you believe in your team. You believe in this club. You said we're the best club in the baseball, and I still believe that. Did that get you guys through this game tonight?
You know, I don't know if it did or not, but these guys come in every day ready to play. They got the great mentality. We got a great manager to lead us. We got a great organization from top to bottom. From the Lerner family on down, this is a great place to play.
You got this thing turned around now. You got your ace, your 21-game winner, Gio Gonzalez, going in Game 5 tomorrow night in front of these fans. What do you expect?
I expect Gio to come out and pitch his game. I said yesterday, I like the spot we were in. We just need to win this game. We won this game. All bets are off tomorrow.
Jason, congratulations. See you tomorrow night.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you, Dick.
All right, David Aldridge, and the ball landed in the stands just to the left of the bullpen. The 14th career postseason home run for Jason Worth, and it came on the 13th pitch from Lance Lynn. And the Chevy player of the game, Jason Worth, who ends a tight, dramatic pitcher's duel with this home run to win it.
Jason had a good at bat earlier in the ballgame when he lined out to short, but none bigger than that when the game winner, a rocket line drive to left field, setting off that celebration at home plate.
Well, no need to jump off a bridge, said Mike Rizzo. We've won 2 in a row before. Now it comes down to 1 game. So our final score, the Nationals 2 and the Cardinals 1. Coming up next on TBS, we'll get to our studio with Matt Weiner. So for Bob Brenly and David Aldridge, this is Dick Stockton saying so long. TBS, your home for the Division Series and exclusive coverage of the American League Championship Series.